Welcome back to GB News Tonight with me, your host, Martin Dorby. Now, here's a reminder of the story that shocked the nation early today when Father Ted creator Graham Linehan was arrested by 5 armed guards at Heathrow for what he wrote online.
When I stepped off the plane, there were 3 policemen on one side, 2 on the other, just flanking the doorway. And as soon as I saw them, I said, "Don't tell me trans activists sent you," you know? And they just, I have to say, the policemen who picked me up were really decent, you know? They brought me to a quiet area where I wouldn't be embarrassed, and they told me I was under arrest. But because I was just so disgusted that I went nuts. I was absolutely infuriated. I said, "Do you know how you look to America? Do you know what America thinks of Britain at the moment?"
Of course, that was back in September. But earlier today, it emerged that the Metropolitan Police have now dropped all of its charges against the writer before the force announced it would no longer also investigate so-called non-crime hate incidents at all. I'm delighted to say I'm now joined by the man of the moment, Mr. Graham Linehan. Graham, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for agreeing to speak to us and what must be a momentous day for you, a day of huge relief. First of all, Graham Linehan, tell us how you're feeling.
Well, you know, I would be more kind of relieved and excited about it had I not expected it to be dropped, because it was so absurd. The whole thing was so absurd. We just had the bail a hearing to get the bail conditions dropped, and the policeman who was in charge of the investigation didn't even turn up. So, which the judge pilloried him for. But yeah, I mean, you know, it's so ridiculous, so absurd that I just thought wiser heads would prevail, you know.
And we had Lord Toby Young in the studio here, of course, president of the Free Speech Union, Graham. And I understand now you're about to get on a front foot yourself. You're going to take it to them. You're going to sue the Met.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, the health scare that I had while I was there was something that, you know, I think when they finally released me, I think they just were a bit nervous I'd die under their care. So it was, you know, and also it's a culmination of years of this kind of thing, you know, like trans activists are trans activists. They're very vindictive. They're very violent. They use all sorts of means to get people's home addresses and things like this. They don't need the police helping them. They don't need the police actually giving them, like I've now had 3 people tell me that the police did not know, that trans activists did not know their address until they gave it to police officers. And after that, trans activists did know their address. So something very, very strange is happening there. I'd like to get to the bottom of it, but I doubt we will. But we'll certainly, you know, I do think that they should be, you know, raked over the coals for basically acting as you know, a group of errand boys for trans activists. You know, it's not their job.
Using the internet without a VPN, a virtual private network, is a bit like taking to the road without car insurance. All it takes is one unlucky moment to cost you a lot of cash. This video's sponsor is Private Internet Access. They are the VPN to help keep you safe. Click the link in the description below to find out why over 30 million people have downloaded PIA to protect themselves online. A virtual private network is an app that hides your IP address and helps keep your data private. When you're browsing the internet at home, you give up a large amount of data to businesses, to shops, and indeed to social media giants too. Hackers have the ability to steal your personal data with ease, including sensitive information such as passwords, keystrokes, and even your personal photos. Private Internet Access helps protect your personal data by encrypting your internet connection to keep your data out of the hands of cyber criminals. And it's not just hackers either to be concerned about. Information can be censored too. When Canada passed their C-18 bill, social media giants decided to ban news content on their platforms. But PIA can protect your ability to consume the news and content you love. Private Internet Access is available for Windows users, Mac OS, Android, Linux, iOS, and you can use one PIA subscription to protect an unlimited amount of devices. And we've got a huge GB News discount for you too. Click the link in this video's description and you'll get a massive 83% off PIA. That's under £2 a month, the price of a coffee, and you'll get an extra 4 months completely free on top. Also, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee too. Visit piavpn.com/GBnews to start protecting yourself digitally today.
And on that point, Graham Linehan, of course, a quick double whammy today of breaking news. Non-crime hate incidents due to be dropped. The Met won't pursue them either. An astonishing number of those have been recorded by the coppers, 133,000 since they were introduced in 2014. 660,000 police hours wasted on snaffling around on social media. Are you convinced that today is the beginning of the end of this madness, or do you think it's just going to trundle along?
I think it'll trundle along for a while. The kind of abuse that the police were participating in is, you also see it in the way that my story is reported by, for instance, today, I think on Radio 4, I was called all the usual names by the journalists. My ability to work is still affected, so for me it just goes on really, but I'm glad at least the police were one of the first things that were used against me by one of these guys, and they really frightened my wife when they came to our house. And so, this is not just what we're suing them for. It's not just this one incident, in my mind. This is for everything they've done to me over the last 8 years. I went back to them with complaint after complaint. They never acted on them, and they let these men behave in the most, appalling way to their victims. And they should answer for it.
And Graham Linehan, in terms of the state of British policing, the state of free speech in this nation, do you think it just brings great shame upon our nation?
Well, it's not good, is it? I mean, Americans already had the idea that England is a free speech, desert. And then when the first thing a bunch of Americans saw when the plane landed in the UK was a comedian being arrested, or a comedy writer, it's ridiculous. And so, I think it's been a bit of a unfortunate episode. Unfortunately for me, it has also helped cement my reputation, which has been blackened by trans activists down through the years. So, again, the police just don't need to be helping these men. They can abuse people, harass people without the actual long arm of the law helping them out.
Graham, do you think there's ever going to be a moment, millions of your fans would just wish that this could all go away? We could see you going back to TV writing. You're a genius at that. You're brilliant. People want that old Graham Linehan back. Can that happen?
Yeah, well, that's one reason why I'm over in Arizona. I'm writing away. We've finished the sitcom. I've just written a film. And I'm about to sit down and get going on another one, I'm enjoying myself. I have a bit of free space now because I know I won't be arrested at any moment. So it's easier to write. It's easier to relax. So, yeah, America's very good for me at the moment.
OK, Graham Linehan, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I really appreciate your time. Let's get straight